Look, we all love our gadgets and gizmos. From the latest smartphones to smart home devices, these innovations have become integral parts of our daily lives. We can't get enough of the instant gratification, the endless cat videos, and the seamless connectivity that these technologies provide. The ability to order a pizza with 2 taps on our phones or to pay for our coffee with a quick scan has revolutionized convenience. And who do we have to thank for this brave new world? Big tech, baby. These companies have transformed the way we live, work, and play. Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft. These companies are practically household names, synonymous with innovation and, let's face it, world domination. Their influence is undeniable, and their reach is global. They are the architects of our digital age. But here's the thing. While these tech giants are raking in billions, their contributions to the public coffers, well, they're not exactly setting the world on fire. In fact, they're often going to extraordinary lengths to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. This isn't just a minor oversight, it's a calculated strategy. In fact, they're often going to extraordinary lengths to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. This isn't just a minor oversight, it's a calculated strategy. Now, I'm not talking about your average Joe trying to shave a few bucks off his tax bill. This is next-level tax avoidance, orchestrated by teams of highly paid lawyers and accountants who could probably write the tax code in their sleep. These companies aren't breaking any laws, mind you. They're simply exploiting loopholes and inconsistencies in the system, playing a game that's rigged in their favor. These companies aren't breaking any laws, mind you. They're simply exploiting loopholes and inconsistencies in the system, playing a game that's rigged in their favor. They're simply exploiting loopholes and inconsistencies in the system, playing a game that's rigged in their favor. And who can blame them, right? If you could legally avoid paying millions, even billions in taxes, wouldn't you? And who can blame them, right? If you could legally avoid paying millions, even billions in taxes, wouldn't you? If you could legally avoid paying millions, even billions in taxes, wouldn't you? But here's the problem. When these tech giants shirk their tax responsibilities, it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. But here's the problem. When these tech giants shirk their tax responsibilities, it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It has real-world consequences for all of us. It has real-world consequences for all of us. It means less money for schools, hospitals, infrastructure, the things that keep a society functioning. It means less money for schools, hospitals, infrastructure, the things that keep a society functioning. It means ordinary taxpayers end up shouldering a heavier burden. It means ordinary taxpayers end up shouldering a heavier burden. And it creates an uneven playing field where small businesses and startups struggle to compete with tech behemoths that are playing by a different set of rules. And it creates an uneven playing field where small businesses and startups struggle to compete with tech behemoths that are playing by a different set of rules. And it creates an uneven playing field where small businesses and startups struggle to compete with tech behemoths that are playing by a different set of rules. So, how do they do it? How do these tech giants manage to dodge the taxman with such finesse? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into the murky world of corporate tax avoidance. So how do they do it? How do these tech giants manage to dodge the taxman with such finesse? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into the murky world of corporate tax avoidance. How do these tech giants manage to dodge the taxman with such finesse? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into the murky world of corporate tax avoidance. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into the murky world of corporate tax avoidance. From offshore accounts to intricate shell companies, the methods are as complex as they are effective. Let's be clear, tax avoidance isn't illegal. It's a practice that many companies, especially tech giants, have mastered over the years. It's a bit like finding a loophole in the rules of Monopoly and using it to your advantage. You play the game within the rules, but you bend them to suit your needs. Unethical? Perhaps, but illegal? Not quite. The line between what's legal and what's ethical can often be blurry, especially in the complex world of corporate finance. Tech companies have become masters of this art, using a variety of sophisticated strategies to minimize their tax bills. These strategies are often intricate and require a deep understanding of international tax laws. One common tactic is called profit shifting. This involves moving profits from high-tax jurisdictions to low-tax ones. Imagine you're a multinational tech company with subsidiaries in different countries. Each subsidiary plays a specific role in the overall strategy. You develop a product in a high-tax country, let's say the United States, but you sell it mostly in low-tax countries, like say Ireland. This setup allows you to take advantage of different tax rates. To avoid paying high taxes in the United States, you get creative with your accounting. This creativity is where the real magic happens. You transfer the intellectual property rights for your product to your Irish subsidiary, where the tax rate is significantly lower. This transfer is often done at a price that benefits the overall tax strategy. Then, your United States subsidiary pays a hefty licensing fee to the Irish subsidiary for the right to sell the product. This fee reduces the taxable income in the United States. Voila! You've just shifted a big chunk of your profits from a high-tax country to a low-tax one. This maneuver significantly reduces your overall tax liability. Another popular strategy is to load up on debt. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's a powerful tool in the tax avoidance arsenal. Now, you might think that being in debt is a bad thing, but in the world of corporate finance, it can actually be quite advantageous, tax-wise. Debt can be a strategic asset. Here's why. Interest payments on debt are tax-deductible. This means that the more debt you have, the more you can reduce your taxable income. So, by taking on a lot of debt, companies can reduce their taxable income and, consequently, their tax bill. This strategy is often used in conjunction with other tax minimization tactics. And then there's the lobbying. Oh, the lobbying. This is where tech companies really flex their muscles. Tech companies spend millions upon millions of dollars each year lobbying governments to create tax laws that benefit them. This lobbying is a long-term investment in their financial future. They argue that lower taxes will spur innovation and economic growth. This argument is often persuasive, especially in economies looking to attract tech investment. And sometimes they get their way. When they do, the tax laws are adjusted in their favor, making it even easier to minimize their tax bills. But let's be honest, when it comes to influencing tax policy, it's a bit like a high-stakes game of Monopoly, where one player gets to write the rules. The stakes are high, and the rewards can be enormous. Let's put some faces to these faceless corporations, shall we? These are the giants of Silicon Valley, the titans of tech, who have mastered the art of tax avoidance. Amazon, the e-commerce behemoth, is a prime example of a company that's become adept at navigating the tax system to its advantage. Their strategies are as complex as they are effective. In 2018, Amazon, a company that made over $11 billion in profits, paid, wait for it, $0 in federal income tax. Yes, you heard that right. That's right, zero. Zilch, nada. Not a single penny went to the federal government from their massive profits. How did they manage this feat of financial wizardry? Well, they used a combination of the strategies we've discussed: tax credits, deductions, and good old-fashioned profit shifting. It's a playbook many corporations follow, but Amazon is hardly alone. They are part of a much larger trend among tech giants. Apple, the maker of those sleek iPhones we're all so fond of, has also been known to play the tax avoidance game. Their tactics are just as sophisticated. They've stashed billions of dollars in profits in Irish subsidiaries, taking advantage of Ireland's low corporate tax rate. This allows them to significantly reduce their tax burden. And then there's Google, the search engine giant that seems to know everything about us, except how much taxes they owe. Their methods are under constant scrutiny. Google's been accused of using a complex web of subsidiaries and tax havens to minimize its tax bill. Their network is intricate and global. These tech giants aren't the only ones playing this game, of course. Many other corporations are also deeply involved in these practices. It's a widespread problem across the corporate world. The scale and sophistication of these schemes are staggering, but the sheer scale of their profits and the audacity of their tax avoidance schemes have made them poster children for corporate greed. Their actions raise important questions about fairness and responsibility in the corporate world. Section 4. Public Pockets, Private Jets. The Impact of Tax Avoidance. Now you might be thinking, so what? These companies are just being smart with their money. It's not like they're stealing, and you'd be right, in a purely legal sense. But here's the thing. When corporations don't pay their fair share of taxes, it has a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. First and foremost, it means less money for public services. You know, the things that make a society livable. We're talking about education, healthcare, infrastructure, scientific research, the very things that allow businesses to thrive and citizens to prosper. When these services are underfunded, it's often ordinary taxpayers who end up footing the bill. That means higher taxes for individuals and small businesses, who are already struggling to make ends meet. But the impact goes beyond just dollars and cents. tax avoidance erodes trust in the system. It creates a sense of unfairness, where the rules seem rigged in favor of the wealthy and powerful, and it undermines the very idea of a social contract, where everyone contributes their fair share to the common good. Section 5. The tax laws that enable tax tightrope walk. Now, you might be wondering, how is this even legal? How can these companies get away with paying so little in taxes? The answer, my friends, lies in the tax code itself. The U.S. tax code, in particular, is a labyrinthine mess of loopholes, exemptions, and deductions, riddled with more holes than a slice of Swiss cheese. It's so complex that even tax lawyers have to specialize in specific areas just to keep up. This complexity creates ample opportunities for corporations to exploit the system and minimize their tax bills. And it's not just the U.S. tax code that's to blame. The global tax system is a patchwork of different rules and regulations, with varying corporate tax rates and enforcement mechanisms. This lack of coordination creates opportunities for multinational corporations to shift profits to low-tax jurisdictions and avoid paying taxes where they earn their revenue. Section 6. Paradise Found. The Allure of Tax Havens. Ah, tax havens. Those sun-drenched islands and secretive financial centers where corporations go to hide their money from the taxman. They conjure up images of shady characters in Panama hats, stashing suitcases full of cash in offshore accounts. And while the reality is a bit less cinematic, the basic principle remains the same. Tax havens offer corporations a way to escape the scrutiny of their home country's tax authorities. These havens typically have low or even zero corporate tax rates, lax financial regulations, and a culture of secrecy that makes it difficult for authorities to track down hidden assets. Now, not all companies that operate in tax havens are engaged in illegal activities. Some have legitimate business reasons for being there, such as access to new markets or a skilled workforce. But for many multinational corporations, the main draw of tax havens is clear: to avoid paying taxes.